does what he's also really good at and submits him.
Or maybe he's more patient with his attack.
Moving his head more, kind of like
doesn't empty the gas tank in the second round when he has him hurt.
Can Topuria bounce back and be the same guy and have that same aura, same persona?
I see Ilia is a good fighter, bro. He's hard. He have good punch, he have good wrestling, good skills in the ground. But if he focus again, maybe he will be champion again. I don't know.
And I think, of course, Ilia would entertain because that's a matchup that puts him back up there. That's a matchup that if he potentially is victorious in that, Ilia's back and looking for that opportunity to potentially fight for his title again.
Ilia Topuria is still, in my book, the #1 fighter in the world. I promise you guys, when the comeback comes, you will see what happens. Paddy Pimblett, fucking Islam, Usman, fucking Gaethje, it doesn't matter who.
Meanwhile, Johnson also broke down what kind of fighter Topuria will be when he steps back in.
Is he going to come back more timid? Is he going to come back more aggressive? I mean, having your overthrown broke, being knocked out, being finished is...
Chael Sonnen is far less convinced, pointing to Topuria's lack of training time and the serious injuries from that last fight. Cardio, he says, is a different problem.
Lifestyle is something different. To achieve the red blood cells, to achieve the lactic acid, to achieve a VO2 max. It gets scientific at that point. Fine. This is still the situation. But the reason I take the time to tell you all of that is Ilia is now going to be removed for a period of time. Let's say his next fight is in 5 months. And I think per the contract, at least mathematically, it's supposed to be in 4 months, right? 3 fights a year, that's 12. So it's supposed to be in 4 months, but let's just say that it's in 5 months. It doesn't really matter. He can't return to the gym. He can't return to the gym for a period of time. And then he's going to be knee deep in doctors and commissions and whatever's going on with his eyes, which we don't know, but we're guessing when we like to play doctor that he's got orbital fractures, which is nothing to mess around with.
Furthermore, Javier Mendez calls Topuria one of the best fighters in the world, a beast who absorbs whatever comes his way.
To what they would like, because every time you get hit.
Islam Makhachev agrees with Rogan and Sterling, wanting Topuria to fight his way back to a title.
What do you think happens next?
Sure, he will back, because he's still young, bro. He have time, and I hope he will come back and show good performance, because I see Ilia is good fighter, bro. He's hard. He have good punch, he have good wrestling, good skills in the ground. But if he focus again, maybe he will be champion again. I don't know.
Okay. Do you think?
But this fight changes his life, but we don't know which way.
Rogan also questions why Topuria would stay at this weight at all, suggesting a drop down could suit him a lot better.
He's that talented. If he takes the right lessons, that's going to be a super inspirational thing to overcome. It's going to be hard, but I sure hope we get to witness that.
I wonder if he's going to stay at 155. There are big guys at 155, and he wasn't that big for 45. When you think about weight cutting in the modern era.
Tsarukyan also floated names for Topuria's next opponent, arguing a safe fight matters more right now than an explosive one.
Like the protecting,
However, Topuria has talked about his training and the battles fighters face at the lowest point of their career.
There are a lot of things that you have to do when you go inside the octagon. So it's the mindset, it's the preparation, it's your internal conversation, your thought process, because we all fighters, we know, like when we are in the backstage, the kind of thoughts that we face. If you can't beat that, probably you're gonna lose that fight. So that's why all the time when I'm in the backstage before the fight, I know the kind of questions that I used to ask to myself, and I prepare myself during the whole training camp to answer that questions. And usually they are like, if this is gonna happen, what I'm gonna do? If I'm gonna feel tired, what I'm gonna do? If this, whatever. I have answers for everything because I faced all those kind of situations in the training camps.
Sonnen also questions Topuria's physical and mental state and how that could affect him in a return fight.
I want to bring this to your attention that Ilia Topuria was put in a colossally difficult situation. He had all sorts of things in his personal life that were none of our business, but seeped over. Now it's not just a matter of you're not sparring, you're not in the gym doing anything, you're not hitting mitts, you're not jumping rope, his legs were all banged up, he's not doing running, like he's going to have a period of time off. That isn't going to get him closer to the goal of being able to do what the human body's not meant to do, which is go 25 minutes. But when he returns, it's what he's going to be asked to do.
Demetrius Johnson feels for Topuria, but believes this setback will only make him come back far stronger.
Like, I'm still a big Ilia Topuria fan. I think he's going to come back stronger than this. I think he just came and fought Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje was just on that night. Khabib said it. Patty said it. Everybody said it. Tony Ferguson said it. Everybody says that this man hits like a truck.
Rogan believes Topuria can dominate again, but only if he leans on pure skill and smarter strategy instead of burning himself out.
Him and Ilia's left hook is phenomenal. That left hook to the body.
Ilia just does such a good job. Once he gets going and he hits a slip and he's just like, bink, bink, bink. It's almost like Conor-esque, the way he just lines up his shots. Vintage Conor.
Vintage Conor. Like
Malki Kawa fires back, saying his fighter finishes anyone put in front of him, Usman included.
Come on. All right, so now back to the MMA stuff, right? If you see my last post, you got this guy. He's sitting there with two of his clients, right? And one of them happens to be Usman. And they're sitting here talking about his next opponent. And then, oh yeah, he will beat this guy, and he will beat that guy, and he will do this, and he will do that. Guys, shut the f*** up. Ilia Topuria will annihilate 100% of your roster, including, if we fought Gaethje again, buddy, he will beat the shit out of him.
Ali Abdelaziz isn't a fan either, insisting his fighter Usman Nurmagomedov beats Topuria if that fight ever happens.
I said it, Osman said it. This is just who's the best in the world today.
Okay, all right, so that being said, the best lightweight in the UFC.
I'm gonna tell you something. The fight I want, if he go to the UFC, I want Ilia Topuria, first fight. First fight.
Woo!
Why not? Listen, there's a beef there. Ilia created a beef. He created a pie. He put it a pie. And the pie would not put it in the oven because he ran out of gas. In fact, Justin Gaethje, straight up. He ran out of gas. He talked a lot of things. He wrote a lot of checks, couldn't cash. Guess what? I'm bringing the whole fire. And if these people want this fight to happen, we can make it happen.
Sterling is optimistic about the comeback, but warns Topuria not to repeat what led to the downfall.
He got ahead of himself too. I felt like he was trying to put an exclamation point, bow tie ribbon on the finish, where he could have submitted him or maybe just go for the TKO, but instead he went for the Khabib-like mounted triangle that Khabib hit on Gaethje, and he was in the same position, was going for the same sequence, and I go, brother, this is either going to be really dope or it's going to be the reason you lose. And he lost the position. Gaethje gets back up, and man, just everything he did in the approach. If they had a rematch, maybe the fight goes different. Maybe Topuria, if he does, he takes him down and does what he's also really good at and submits him.
Topuria's manager is fully behind him, promising a stronger comeback and an epic return where he tears through anyone in front of him.
Ilia Topuria is still, in my book, the #1 fighter in the world. I promise you guys, when the comeback comes, you will see what happens. Paddy Pimblett, Islam, Usman, Gaethje, it doesn't matter who, doesn't matter when, okay? You guys will see a masterclass. That's what that is.
Jones goes further, calling Topuria one of the best fighters in the sport, someone who beats everyone once he's fully recovered.
Like, he's a perfect fighter right now. His grappling looks wonderful. His discipline, the way he carries himself, he's always lean, always strong. I hear that he spends millions of dollars in his recovery and his wellness and his supplements, his boxing level, his power. He seems like the fighter of the future.
Kamaru Usman addresses a possible fight with Usman Nurmagomedov, saying it works out well for Topuria.
Like I said, there's a lot of fun matchups right now because you're all right. If Usman was to come into the UFC, right, I mean, that is a tremendous matchup that I think, of course, the UFC would entertain. And I think, of course, Ilia would entertain because that's a matchup that puts him back up there. That's a matchup that if he potentially is victorious in that, Ilia's back and looking for that opportunity to potentially fight for his title again.
Makhachev calls Topuria a threat, but says he has to change his priorities and ditch the arrogance that got him beaten.
Honestly, I'm surprised because if you ask me, I choose Ilia. But you know, when you sound like when you become champion and you like lose the focus, it's happened, bro. It's happened. This is very dangerous sport, and I think what's happened with Ilia, he just underestimated him because he thinking he can beat him easy, he can knock him out, he believe his power, but Gaethje is the real dog, you know. He can fight all night, and what's happened with Ilia? He spent too much energy, try to knock him out, try to land some hard punch, and he become tired.
Jon Jones agrees with Volkanovski, confident Topuria's mentality is strong enough to bring him all the way back.
Ilia's he's gonna be in a good position. He has faith. He has a strong team, and that's a lot of what it takes. He has a work ethic. I think he's honest with himself. Ilia and I, we share the same agent, and we were talking about him earlier today. And what I heard was that he's humble, that he is honest. He realized that he just didn't perform well, and I think that's the number one step of getting back into the ring in a healthy way. It's the guys that make excuses. That's when it's hard to come back and win that rematch. Guys who just say, you know what, I could have did better, I could have done more. Honesty with yourself is the key to MMA. Knowing exactly who you are, what you've done, what you haven't done. You can't lie once you get in that cage. What's real will come to the light.
Jones even rates Topuria's skill set above Islam Makhachev's, and Makhachev sits at the top of the game.
If I had to gamble, I would pick Topuria because Topuria has superior stand-up. I feel like Islam has the better wrestling. I feel as if Topuria has more submission skills, but I feel like the knockout power of Topuria makes him slightly better. Either one of those guys can win on any night, but if I had to personally gamble on that fight, I think I would put my money on Ilia.
So where do you land on Topuria's comeback? Does he turn things around, or does he fall to the current crop of contenders again? Drop your take in the comments, and if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe for more UFC breakdowns. Volkanovski broke down what caused the loss, and what Topuria needs to change for a better result next time.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I mean by rushed it. Like he rushed it as in, I'm getting the finish, I'm getting it straight away. You know, it's a White House card, you know, let's put a finish on, let's another first round knockout. You know, he had that sort of, he would have been confident. He definitely could have pulled that off. But if you don't, you know, it's all right fight's the right fight. You know, you will run into shots, run into punches, and you will gas. And that's sort of what happened. So look, it was a risk and a risk that Ilia took. You know, and that was a choice he made. And it could have paid off for him. You've seen him; he did hurt Justin a few times.
Even after that brutal night, Joe Rogan still rates Ilia Topuria among the best fighters on the roster.
That's how good Ilia Topuria is. That's how good Ilia Topuria is. Ilia Topuria, in many people's eyes, is the most skilled of the new generation, and the new generation is the most skilled of all time. And Ilia was like the top of the mountain. And most people thought that he was going to be too much, and he was too much for a while.
Furthermore, amid all this commentary, Topuria himself has spoken about the struggles he's dealing with and how he's working through them.
So it changed in 1 second. So it was a little bit hard, but at the end of the day, when something is out of my control, I just decide to do whatever is under my control. And that wasn't, so it came to my life, I had to live it. I had to figure out how I would fix everything.
Alexander Volkanovski believes Topuria comes out on top if he ever lands a rematch against Justin Gaethje.
If they fight again, do you think it's the same result? Do you think Justin's just a bad matchup for him, or he figures it out?
No. I don't think. I think if it fights the right fight, he will learn a lot from that. I think Ilia wins the rematch, and that's that's no knock on Justin at all. It's just like obviously Ilia was a favorite for a reason, but I just think that Ilia, if he doesn't rush as much, fights at a little bit better distance, and then does what he usually does, sets up nice traps, he'll eventually find him. But yeah, being so aggressive is sort of what cost him, I believe.
Despite their history, Arman Tsarukyan is backing Topuria's comeback, saying he needs to put everything into this fight camp.
The phenom that he was going into this fight?
Yeah, he can come back, definitely. And I think the lose is gonna give him a lot of lessons, not to be overconfident, respect your opponent, and keep grinding,
So you think those celebrations before and the Instagram record and all that, he's not going to do that anymore?
Yeah, he was. I think he was more focused on his media stuff more than training camp.
Okay.
Still, Sonnen thinks a Gaethje rematch would be great, with Topuria having a real shot at the belt.
Don't take off the table a rematch with Gaethje. That's the one thing that nobody's talking about. It's very seldomly that we've seen a fight that was as great as that fight and we don't instantly start talking about rematch. But we didn't do it here, and we didn't do it out of respect. It was a respect for what Justin achieved, and it was a respect for what Ilia gave. But that psychology will go away in a few weeks. In a few weeks, you'll forget about the damage. You'll forget about the doctor. You'll forget about the referee. You'll forget about little brother that all said, stop. You'll forget about that. And you'll just remember what an awesome fight that was. So there's a lot of things that are on the table for Ilia, but it's a massive situation of out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Rogan says the loss hurt, but taking that fight was the smartest move for Topuria's comeback.
Future. But I think maybe more significantly was the eye damage. Both of his eyes were swollen shut. His nose was fucked up. He'd taken so many punches to the face, and it looked like perhaps orbital damage, like maybe he had a fractured orbital, because his whole thing had just swollen up on both sides. He was unrecognizable. And the guy hung in there as long as he could, but when you can't see, you can't see. And when you're that battered, sometimes it's smart to stop, and he's a very smart guy, and I think he realized I can't defend myself right now. I can't see. This guy's smashing me. Let's call it a day. This is what it is. Let's preserve my body and my brain and rebuild and come back another day.
Not everyone is sympathetic. Paddy Pimblett has been enjoying Topuria's fall. Talking to Daniel Cormier, Pimblett called him fake, said everything about him is orchestrated, and claimed he's the fakest person he's come across behind the scenes. Dan Hardy takes a similar line, pointing to Topuria's overconfidence heading into that fight as the reason he lost a contest that was his to win.
In the first round, I was surprised at Ilia. He was walking at Gaethje like he couldn't get hurt. It was almost like in his mind, he was going to knock him out with that overhand right, and he just needed to stay close enough to start slipping and countering. But I think he took for granted how effective Justin's boxing is. I mean, his jab is so difficult to read. A lot of Trevor Whitman's fighters are. Their jab's so difficult to read that Topuria wasn't able to get his head off the center line. And everything that Gaethje does is so concussive, isn't it? There's just such a thud to it. So I don't even think he was expecting it to be that damaging when he was feeling it. Like it was doing bone damage as opposed to concussive damage, you know? That's a different kind of power.
Aljamain Sterling has been vocal about where Topuria's career goes from here.
Going in there, doing this to Topuria. Can Topuria bounce back and be the same guy and have that same aura, same persona that people are going to step in the octagon with him and be a little hesitant to want to go in there with him because of what he's done in the past, but then also knowing that, yo, just like us, man, he puts his fucking pants on the same way we do, one leg at a time, unless he could jump and put both on at the same time.
Furthermore,
Mendes says Topuria will be the toughest test for anyone he ever trains.
He matches up extremely well with every one of those guys. The guy that's going to be the toughest puzzle, in my opinion, is Topuria. He's going to be the toughest puzzle, but we'll get him solved too. But he's the toughest puzzle, and he's the one I would have the most respect going up against. Just me, my personal opinion. Habib's opinion may be different. Other coaches that train Usman might have different, but my opinion is our toughest task that we have to work on is Ilia, and we would do it. I know we would do it, but he is definitely by far our toughest challenge. I feel.